Today is Wednesday night, December the 16th, 2015. The time being 8:20 p.m. Central Time or Charleston, Missouri time. Today, for me, today it was a good day. I started off doing my walks, about 6-mile walk, and so happened on my way back, I seen my used-to-be cameraman before he was threatened by some of the Charleston Police Department, Percy Owens, and a couple other police officers on May the 19th, 2015, due to Lester Gillespie didn't want him videoing for me anymore. And Lester Gillespie and Percy Owens married the same sisters, which Percy is divorced from one, but they was once brother-in-laws. And it so happened, coincidentally, Lester called him saying me and Buck Whitney was putting bombs in the cars at the Lincoln School or the C.F. Bowen Center, or one of the headquarters where Suzanne Wesley have Lester Gillespie working out of there. But anyway, me and my friend Bobby Whitney, we was talking. We called him Buck, by his house. And he was telling me he had a visit from Lester Gillespie. Lester Gillespie so happened to tell him that he was sorry for having Percy coming over threatening him. And Buck Whitney told him he didn't need to tell him he was sorry. He needed to tell me that he was sorry for what him, the police department, and the school have taken me and my 2 daughters through. But as we was talking, Lester Gillespie turns off of Tom Brown. Those in Charleston know where Tom Brown is at. And then came either Tom Brown or Ada, and then came down going south on Main Street, past us in his green truck, pickup truck. And as we was talking 5 minutes later or so, maybe not that long, Lester Gillespie come back, pulled straight into Bobby Whitney's driveway and told Bobby Whitney, I need to talk to you in a real aggressive manner. Bobby Whitney said, I'm talking to Raymond. And I told Lester, you don't supposed to be around me. I don't supposed to be around you. And I was here first, and I'm not going to leave. And he continued to try to get Bobby Whitney to talk to him. And Bobby Whitney continued to tell him he was talking to me. And he got out of his truck, Lester did, and told Bobby Whitney, he said, I need you to video for me. Bobby Whitney said, I'm finna go in the house. And I said, let me call the police. Lester Gillespie got in his truck. When I was calling the police, I dialed 911 twice. And Lester got in his truck and he hollered out and told me, you know you won. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not scared of you. He said, I'm not scared of you. But yet you told the judge, so you lied on the oath when you said you were scared of me in the courtroom on December the 4th. I didn't know at the time that I had won. So I went up to the courthouse after I talked to the police and made a report. I went up to the courthouse, and this is what they gave me. Can you focus in that camera, lady? All right. This is notice of entry. Supreme Court Rule 74.03 in the 33rd Judicial Circuit Court, Mississippi County, Missouri, which is in Charleston, Missouri. And this case is Lester Gillespie versus Raymond Ivey. And it say, you are hereby notified that the court duly enter the following. This is what the court entered after December the 4th when me and Lester Gillespie had our hearing, but we had a judge out of the 33rd Circuit because I had to go all the way to the Supreme Court, Missouri Supreme Court, because they had an unjust judge, a biased judge, Robert S. Barker, who was the lawyer for Lester Gillespie and Suzanne Wesley. And he's the judge now, and he wanted to hear my case. He tried to give it to Judge Dolan. Judge Dolan didn't take it. So the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in Missouri handed down to the Honorable Judge Gary A. Camp, K-A-M-P. But let's see what happens here. File date. The ruling came in December the 11th, 2015. Judgment entered. Judgment in order filed. It is therefore ordered that the petitioner's request, Lester Gillespie is the petitioner, for relief is denied. Order per written order, copies mailed to. Now we know Lester Gillespie and me, Raymond Ivey, is the two parties. Now we know why they sent a copy to the judge and the clerk. And we know why they sent one to Charleston Department of Public Safety. We know why they sent one to Clary E. Polly, which is Lester's attorney. We know why they sent one to Darren Kane, which is the state's attorney here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County. We know why they sent it to Lester Gillespie and me, Raymond Lewis Ivey. And I believe this here is the Missouri Department of the Sheriff Department here. And now I can't understand why did they send a copy to Suzanne Wesley Family Learning Center and they didn't file anything. But let's go to the next page. The next page here, I went and got it today, which they said a true copy. I'm wondering what the other copies was because this is the first time I seen this. A true copy. Circuit Court, Mississippi County, Missouri, date 12/16/15. It was filed here on the 11th, and I just got a copy going to the courthouse. But it says Lester Gillespie versus Raymond Ivey. I'm the respondent. Lester is the petitioner. We see all this here. Judgment in order. Now on the 4th day of December 2015, the petitioner appeared, Lester's the petitioner, appeared in person with his counsel, his lawyer, Carly E. Polly, and respondent Raymond Ivey, which is me, appeared in person, representing myself. Jesus Christ was my lawyer. Testimony and evidence is presented by the parties, both of us. The petitioner, Lester Gillespie, has requested an order of protection on the grounds of stalking. During the petitioner Lester's testimony, he presented one, not 100, one episode where he could have been stalked and threatened. Could have been. He made other allegations of other instances of stalking. However, no substantiating evidence was presented. Most of those instances included allegations that Lester was being stalked at a public location, the C.F. Bowen Learning Civic Center, that the respondent, me, Raymond Ivey, had legal grounds to be present. I had a right to be there. The petitioner provided no proof that the respondent had been barred from being on the premises of the petitioner's place of employment. The petitioner presented numerous emails and YouTube videos that he claimed to be threatening in nature. The court, the judge itself, judge is the court. The court, in reviewing, the judge reviewed all these YouTube videos. The same has found case law or other law that establishes emails, videos, or other electronic medias are grounds for establishing stalking. The petitioner presented insufficient, in other words, Lester presented insufficient evidence to establish stalking. Now, that's just what the judge recommended he should have did. The petitioner, Lester's better remedy would have been to seek an injunction prohibiting the respondent, me, from posting the offensive posts. See, the judge said it may have been offensive, but I got a right to do what I did. And then the final thing is, it is therefore ordered that the petitioner's, Lester's request for relief is denied. The previous entry that Bob Barker, Lester's lawyer, on October the 14th, granted him ex parte order of protection is dismissed. So it took a judge, the Supreme Court justice had this. Oh, let's get the rest of it. Court costs. He wanted me to pay for his court costs, his lawyer and everything. Costs are waived. Dated this 8th day of December 2015. They done held this away from me all this time. Here's the seal. That's the judge, Judge Gary A. Camp. But my bottom line is, I'm not here to boast. I'm trying to show you people in Charleston, Missouri, who rights have been violated for years, decades. This judge was come from the 32nd Circuit out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. He had to be appointed all the way from our capital, Jefferson City, by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Now, this area is Democratic ran, black and white. They corrupted. I know they are. Les Gillespie was working with Suzanne Wesley since 1997. 1998, he pled guilty to voter fraud. He was working for Suzanne Wesley. They know what he was doing. Paying blacks $1 or a cigar or a bag of candy, anything worth $1 to vote. That's what he think of the black community. Now he doing the same thing today. You see what I'm saying? He doing the same thing today. He had me speaking where he get him and Suzanne Wesley Learning Center get about $500 or $1,500 or more to have me speak for almost 2 hours to the youth. But then he give me $50 out of his pocket. Him and Sherry Maxwell from the Lincoln University wants me to sign a contract, get my social security number, but I wouldn't do it. You have to stand your ground. You have to stand your ground. Lester Gillespie had all these